If we're going to have a new global, new economy, we're going to have to find the raw materials that we need on the African continent, in the Middle East, in the Islamic parts of the former Soviet Union, like Kazakhstan, like Uzbekistan, and all the way to Asia. And in order to do that, governments have to realize that money's a coward. It runs away at the first sign of trouble. So an attractive fiscal regime, stability and predictability of laws are very important. And with that sort of fundamental determinant, it's possible to explore and develop the incredible geologic potential of these new areas. You know, a country like the Democratic Republic of the Congo, the median age is only about 18 and a half years of age. You've got a young, hungry population, very anxious to see what they have, and the Creator was very kind. Almost every one of these countries is endowed with natural resources. And now that we're attempting the greatest technological transformation in the history of our species, changing the way we generate and transmit energy, leaving behind coal or carbon-intensive energy, we need to go to these new terrains and work with these young populations in a way that is obviously sustainable and benefits the populations that host these resources. So we need a new analysis of how the whole enterprise of mining is conducted. But the enormous potential in Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, in Turkey, in Africa, in Saudi Arabia, in the Arabian Shield, in the Nubian Shield, right across to Indonesia and Mongolia and the states in the rest of Asia. We have to go there and we have to develop these new places. Saudi Arabia is absolutely critical to global investors. First, for energy stability. Without Saudi energy, we're finished because we can't leap directly into an energy transformation. I don't know of a single billionaire that doesn't put his pants on one leg at a time. No matter how wealthy somebody is, nobody jumps into their pants legs, two at a time. Similarly, with the energy transformation, we have to go a step at a time. We need stable hydrocarbon, natural gas, LNG for decades, perhaps a few generations, while we go out and find a whole new way to have sustainable energy for planet Earth. Saudi Arabia sits right at the middle with very cheap energy, very, very, very dependable government, very stable, and it also has a very large resource endowment in copper, in gold, in fertilizer, in aluminum, and a whole host of other materials that haven't begun to be studied. For example, lithium in the brines in the oil fields. So Saudi Arabia is sitting in a central location with ocean access on two sides and with a history of resource development, will be a provider of capital and expertise for the whole region. In order to meet the demands of the new energy transition and develop a new economy, the mining industry has a plethora of challenges. We need political stability, we need infrastructure, we need clean energy. The extraction and refining of natural resources is extremely energy intensive. We need a lack of corruption from host governments, in exchange for which the mining industry has to make a bigger contribution. Speaking as someone running a mining company, we're happy to pay more taxes. We're happy to share the wealth as long as we're certain that none of that money will be stolen by the host government and actually goes to benefit, in particular, the people that live near the mines, because all politics are local. And it's very important that the mining industry has a better relationship with Aboriginal and Indigenous people, because you can't fool anybody. They're seeing you mine their resources. The planet needs the resources for energy transformation, but the politics are local. So in each of these areas, the mining industry has to find a better way to work with local people. And this means education. This means internet, broadband, wireless, agricultural development, downstream employment, and then adding value to the metals locally to the degree that that is feasible. So the whole enterprise, cradle to grave, womb to tomb, if you will, sperm to germ, has to be rethought. And I think the mining industry is taking enormous strides in doing exactly that. There's going to be an enormous suite of disruptive technologies that are going to help us find the metals that we need for the new economy. As the industry is really piggybacking on all the technological revolutions of the last century, broadband, machine learning, software, satellite technology, telecommunications are all central to a better effort in finding the critical raw materials. And beyond that, disruptive technologies that we are working on, a lot of which came from the defense industry. We'll have better ways to crush rock, better ways to grind rock with less energy, better ways to recover metal from the rock, and ways to put tailings and waste either back underground or stored in a way that it's inherently safe. So the whole process of the way waste is discarded after the mining process will be revolutionized. I'm very confident if you come back and look at the mining industry in Africa or the Middle East in 10 or 20 years, it will be completely different from the way things were done in previous generations.